All right, everybody. Go Team Coach Call for the 21st of August. We can call this is a total eclipse of the Go Team, which is pretty much instead of the heart. Like, I think that song got like the most play that it has in like 40 years or 30 years since it's been released today. So that's kind of fun. Hope anybody get a chance to see the eclipse. Well, not see it, but hopefully guarding your eyes to see it. I wore those glasses things and got a chance to see it, which is kind of cool. And yeah, kind of a unique thing. And I remember when I was like 9 years old the last time, and I was big into astronomy at that point as a young boy. And it's like, eclipses, they're cool. All right, so hope you're doing well. Everybody, we're going to get into some things here as we go. Want to talk again our process. Remember, guys, it's pretty much a simple process, and we can overcomplicate the business. We can make it all about every social media post, blah, 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 and everything you got going on. But really, it's pretty much this: hit Success Club and helping recruit, do challenge groups, ultimately to help those people get progress. And it's funny because I was reading through something today. I was on the internet, and one of the big things that it talked about coaches was the fact that the systems. The interesting thing about like systems as it relates to like fitness, full out fitness systems, it's sometimes it's not even so much the system itself, but yet it's the person's belief in the system's ability to get them the progress that they want that will actually get them more progress than the system sometimes itself. So as effective as our system potentially can be, guys, which is great, our main task is belief transfer. Okay, so if we can transfer that belief that like you'll get great progress if you follow the system, you'll have people who are lifers. That's what will end up happening because they'll go, this stuff works because they'll start to see progress and they'll maintain a progress, and then they'll actually consider like, hey, you know what, maybe I should actually consider this whole coaching thing, which is why challenge groups are just so critical, guys, in order to help people to ultimately fuel your business to get you to for people who might actually join the business side of this. Okay. And then help them get Success Club and repeat and repeat and repeat, and you're all in good shape. Remember, once again, and I'll say it again, complexity is the enemy of execution. So that's that. Hold on, quick break. All righty. So, there's a quote from Rick Warren that I wanted to read to you guys. All leaders are learners. The moment you stop learning, you stop leading. I learn as much as I can from as many as I can, as often as I can. So I sure hope, guys, as it relates to you helping others, that you're in the learning process. And I give kudos to Linda, who spent some time, I think this past week, really doing some research. Like, how do I build things? And that's called taking ownership, guys, of your business. We're going to do that I'll talk about that in just a second, but that's called taking ownership. And really, no one's giving you permission. No one's going to handhold you along the process. Yes, we'll certainly give you ways to start. My coach never handheld me. He just kind of pointed me in the direction, gave me a few tools, and then I kind of just made it up as I went along here. And yes, there's a lot of, and now, again, there's so much great training that we can look to, especially on YouTube and things like that, that can help us. Okay. Wanted to give you this particular quote. You guys probably have heard of this before. There's a military version that's a little less clean than this, but it's proper preparation prevents poor performance. There's actually, in the military version, there's a P word between prevents and poor. If you can kind of read what that might be. All right. Anyway, so here's the deal, guys. Proper preparation prevents that poor performance. And guys, what I'm really understanding, especially now being back in the classroom, I really have to consider and be a lot more. It's not only the reflection of my food that I mentioned earlier, guys, like the fact that I'm doing shift shop food and I'm really making sure that I'm packing my stuff. So I pack my lunch ahead of time. It's the night before. So I'm not like stressed out in the morning. I even start prepping little parts of my breakfast so I can be more efficient in terms of my breakfast, so I can have more time in the mornings, those kind of things. So I had that stuff set. So then when it's go time, I'm not stressed out. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to grab blah, 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 blah. And I was just talking to some of my challengers messaging them this weekend and just this last day or two. And that's one of the main things that they struggle with. Like this one gal, she's like, she has to be at work at 7:15 and she has her alarm set for 5:30, but then she snoozes till 6. And then who knows, man? It's like, if you're going to take a shower and you get your hair all set, ladies, I know you guys it takes a little bit longer sometimes. And so, dude, and I don't know what her drive exactly commute is, but like that's called a recipe for stress and a recipe for probably not effective. You're never going to get your food set because you're barely grabbing a coffee maybe or a bar or something like that. And then that's not really helpful. So really what I'm learning, guys, when it comes to this whole process, and I think God's teaching me some cool things as it relates to my business through other things in my life, is the fact that the more preparation I can have, and that includes posting. So because business is part of that too for me. So I'm actually, getting my post set on like the night before. Now here's the interesting thing is I'm actually not doing like full week's worth because I'm not sure where the group's going to be like 5 days from now. I'm not sure what we're going to necessarily need. And I want to be able to read that. Maybe some of you and you're cool with doing that, and that's fine if you choose to do that. I would make sure if you do choose to do the like 5 days in advance, so you got those things all set, is that you really are then really attentive to how people are responding to that stuff, and then just be active in it so you don't feel like it's like, again, robot posting kind of a deal. Because there's nothing worse than a robot post and then you're like, there's no comments on it. You're not commenting on it. And guys, I'll tell you what, here's the deal. You can't, if you're going to effectively run your business, you probably being on it every second, and every time a little red light pops up, bing, oh, I've got a comment back on it. I'm doing that much more by batches now. So it's like, I go through and I've got some time where I'm like, this is respondo time. Boom. Right. Versus like, hey, I'm available all the time. Bing, 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 bing. And then you run yourself ragged and you get burned out. Okay. So just be really intentional, I guess. And that's the big thing too. So as it relates to my posting now this week, so tomorrow, so let's see. So Sunday night. Yeah. So Sunday night is when I posted on the coaching opportunity. I don't know if you guys saw that. So I did my debt reduction thing with my daughter. I said, this is ultimately what I'm trying to do, is to help her to not have to, pay for college, not to be shackled in debt. Got some pushback, which is kind of fun. I'm like, okay, wait, so you want to give your kids that? Okay. Anyway, I was like, is there a good scenario on that? Like if I could bless my kids with not having that, wouldn't that be a good thing? I don't know. Just, and I understand people, wanting kids to work for stuff. That's fine. That's a different story. Because then you can go, okay, well, I'll pay for you, and you're going to pay me back. So, or whatever. That'd be my thought. But anyway, so that's a whole separate thing. But so I've got that set. And now, so tomorrow, I'm going to make, and today was a little bit more fitness based in terms of my, I would call my, Mac Daddy post of the day. I'm actually going to, feature coaching tomorrow. So kind of trying to decide the angle on it. I've got some thoughts, and I've got some past posts that I've saved from other people to talk a little bit about some stuff, maybe some other benefits. One thing was, trying to ultimately pay that is actually a very key reason why I do this. So now helping tell that story. And again, the more I can tell story, I guess that's what I found is when I'm doing the storytelling, guys, it's so people respond. And Jen, I know that's your story as well too. So that's good stuff, and I love the fact that you're doing. I see that and actually a lot of you guys are really doing some great stuff with that. Okay, so there's some things I'm learning when it comes to this, is just that intentionality. So I'm intentionally posting, and actually my engagement's that much better because I'm actually really intentional about what I'm posting. Not like, hey, I should probably throw something together, right? And then you can think a little bit more. Little shout outs to everybody. So a lot of people are in that 3 lives land. So I'm at 8. We got Stephanie at 6, Claire at 6, Nancy's at 6, and then Andy's at 2. I think Kelsey may be at 2 as well, but that's not as reflected on my report as of yet. Anybody else here point-wise that I need to know about? Okay. So that'd be great to see some more folks on that board. We're we're heading towards the end of the month, so we got about a week plus to go. So now would be the time if you're going to make that happen, especially as it relates to your cup teams, to make that stuff happen. So that's good. Speaking of cup, the 31st. So we got the 28th is next week, next Monday, and then you've got 3 days after that. So it's going to be Thursday night's going to be your deadlines, and also just be aware, guys, as it relates to BOD. Okay, at least from what I know. Now, I don't know if you guys have heard any things different, but besides this, but BOD this sale was supposed to go through the 31st of August, okay, for the 160. I don't know what that means. I think the regular price is $199, okay? So if you got some folks who are on the fence about the BOD Challenge Pack, you're going to want to start to leverage the price increase. You go, hey, again, the difference between BOD and BOD with Shakeology is $60, which is crazy. Brother-in-law just bought Shakeology HD tonight and signed up. Probably won't show up. Yep, that's good. But that's the idea. Okay, so leverage the deadline in order to get people to commit. Should be really, really great. Okay.
Hey, Dan.
Yes.
Dan. I was out on the coach online office, and they extended that through September.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you. There you go. Well, now you know.
And it said they're really evaluating it to see if it's economical to leave it at that price.
Ah, gotcha. That could be amazing.
Yeah.
You'll pretty much then end most every other challenge pack if that ends up being the case.
Yeah.
There really will be no need to do really anything else when it comes to that, unless people really feel like they want to do DVDs. But then I would think we could actually even reduce the price of the DVD situation, and somehow I don't know how that would work out, but it's crazy. So.
I would think the only reason they would want a DVD would be for backup if their internet went down.
Yeah.
That's fine, I think. Anyway.
Or in a zone where some folks they don't have good Wi-Fi and they're literally out in Montana world, in Wyoming world where there's more elk than there are towers. So there you go. But we could actually connect the wires to their antlers, so that would be cool. But yeah, anyway, but that's especially when you have people who are doing, when they're doing internet through satellite internet, because that's all they've got. That might be an option too. All right. And also, honestly, elderly folks sometimes just dude, you want me to stream what? It's I don't know what's going on. What is you? They don't even know what a DVD player is. Sometimes it's wait, where's the tape? Where do you put the tape in? Anyway, that can happen. Okay, good stuff. I want to talk real quick before we get into the meat of our call here, guys. I want to talk about your business. I've often thought about this. I've thought about actually creating sort of a self-diagnosis of business, and having coaches sort of take themselves, so if they're man, Dan, I just feel stuck, right? Sometimes I'll get that, Dan, I feel stuck. And it's okay, what I'd really like to do is to go, what are the sticking points? Where are you stuck? So it might be posting. It might be your funnel, where you're actually getting new people from, where your invite process might be a sticking point. Scripting, so I don't know what to say to people. How to actually, begin conversation, whatever those things are, but to actually diagnose some of those things so you are not just guessing as to where the sticking point is, instead of saying, well, I'm generally stuck. It's well, okay, well, where are you stuck? You're probably not stuck everywhere. So let's actually talk about where specifically you might be stuck. And when we do that, then we're able to really kind of discern what action points we need to take based on that, okay? And then what you can do, kind of like Linda did, we sort of said we can't diagnose Linda's situation. It's I just don't have enough new people in the funnel, so I've got to actually figure out what it means to expand my network. And Debbie, I think for you as well, that would be something that we, for you in the longer term, that's gonna be something where I have to look for you and then just spend some time. What does it mean to, and so Linda found, so when you did your research there, Linda, would you mind just talking to what were a couple of points that you found to expand your network? What were a couple of highlights?
Basically, the main one that I saw was to go and join a couple of groups that I would be interested in. And so I've done that. There's one other one I think I want to join, but right now I joined an Alzheimer's and dementia caregiver support group online.
Yeah.
Seeing that I'm taking care of my dad who has dementia. And another one was yard sale for my area, because I like yard selling.
Yeah, no, that's great.
And actually what's interesting was my daughter-in-law and her sister, they're involved in doTERRA oils, essential oils. And they were doing a 3-day talk group to introduce how people can protect themselves from getting any kind of cold virus during the wintertime.
Sure.
And so I joined that too.
Yeah. And I think, sometimes, I think and sometimes that's a great way just to see how other businesses are doing it sometimes. Right. I think that's a helpful tool on occasion. Because, we can sort of it's like, we can get inbred a bit, y'all. We can get a little bit inbred when it comes to just the way we do things. So it's nice to sometimes have a different perspective.
Right. And I also went through my people who have sent friend requests, or when Facebook has sent friend requests, and I've gone through that and clicked on several people that I thought would be people I can get to know and reach out to.
That's great. Fantastic. And then it's just, again, a reasonable amount of quality posting, guys, and with engaging posts that would actually meet some of the needs that you are seeing out there with some of the people that they need, and that can be helpful. Okay. So researching your options and of course building a plan, and then you have to execute it, because many people, we've done this where you create a plan and then you don't actually do anything about it. So it'd be really good to actually execute that plan. So diagnose the issue, research your options, build a plan, execute your plan. Now, here's the biggest deal I'm going to say about this whole thing. It's called small business ownership. Even though we are, again, and I'll say this, I've said it before, we are a team, we're the GO team, you yet are still an independent team Beachbody coach. And that independent side of that means you need to own the growth of your business, right? That's your responsibility. That's not guilt tripping anybody, okay? But basically, ultimately what's going to happen, and you've heard it even in the income disclaimer when it comes to that, is that any coach's compensation and things like that is going to be directly related to their willingness and ability to work, okay? Really to work. It's not a magic thing that sort of just happens, right? That's really critical to think about that. Okay. So guys, tonight we're going to talk about a little bit about keeping the conversation going. I'm going to have Jen hopefully join us as well. My voice is a little bit tired from teaching all day a little bit, so I'm going to try to ask some of y'all input in this as well. I'm going to actually grab some water. Jen, wait, actually, no, who suggested this one? Was that Kelsey? I think Kelsey actually suggested this one. Kelsey, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Good deal. So let's talk about, for a second, I'm going to turn up my volume so I can hear you, but I'm going to mute myself. I want to hear, because I'm going to go load up on some more water. But go ahead and talk to us about why this is an important, what set this off for you? I think there was a particularly...
Oh, geez.
Whoa!
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I'll shut them out. Hang on. Just a second.
I'll get...
Come on, guys. Come on. Come on. Jojo, come on.
Cujo.
Let's go. Gosh darn it. I'm sorry. My husband's downstairs and I can't. They're too big for me. Jojo, now. Treat. Treat. Okay.
Good job.
So, I've had a lot of great conversations with people, but I always seem to get, like you said, you were talking about getting stuck earlier. I always seem to get stuck in one part of the conversation. After we talk about goals, after we talk about their fitness interests and what they do for their daily nutrition, after we talk about all of that, it seems to be like there ends up being either a pricing issue or there ends up being some kind of an excuse And I have a hard time navigating around that. So that's why I brought up this topic.
Yeah, I'm way over here. I did hear you. Hold on. Almost there. 3, 2, 1. Good deal. Okay, so you get in that stuck point. Can you define it real quick? Let's just talk. We'll dial in specifically, and then we'll go a little bit broader as we relate to other folks. So, like, where do you feel like you are getting stuck?
Right after I talk to them about what their goals are, and then we get into explaining, or they explain to me what they like to do for fitness and what interests them for fitness and their daily nutrition, because I normally ask all those questions.
Sure.
And then after that, it seems like once they find out that it costs, even though I haven't even brought up costs yet, they ask that question, and I'm like, well, it does, but there are different options for you. Or if I go about it in that way, it's like a lot of times they automatically just shut down after that. Yeah. Or they go to their spouse, and their spouse is the one that shuts them down.
Yeah. And that sometimes can be the case, particularly with the people maybe that you are, actually hitting as well. Okay, so I guess I'm trying to get the disconnect between, we haven't even talked about cost yet. How do they know the cost at this point? How do they know that this costs?
They find out the cost through the videos I send them.
Ah, okay.
Through the actual through our dialogue that we use, or the strategies that you give them.
Okay. And so you send them that, hey, here's the video, check it out, and then they go, oh, this, and they go automatically, oh, this costs, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So my question is, I'm going to ask you this one. What about? So we do the nutrition. Sorry, we do the exercise, and then you do the nutrition. Are you doing that interim step, which is the why, which is ultimately not the goal, but so this is what I like to sort of do is I say this. I've been using this a lot lately. Is okay. So. Sounds like you could definitely, we can help you with a lot of this stuff. This is how I might, so if if they talk to you about their fitness stuff, they talk about their nutrition, hey, we can help you make some good progress here. Now, I'd love for you to paint the picture for me, and I use those words. I'd love for you to paint the picture for me of what, let's just use the person's name, we'll just use Susie. What Susie looks like in, let's say, 2 to 3 months, and we've gotten you the progress, or paint the picture of how does Susie, how does she look, how does she feel about herself, how does she, what kind of beliefs are inside Susie at that point? You see? And see what I've done there is I've taken, because often, guys, let's just be real, there is sometimes they just want to look better, okay? And especially in your demographic, Kels, just being truthful on that, younger folks tend to looking better really matters a lot, relatively, compared to us old folks who, of course we want to look good too, but not quite as priority. Generally, marital status can affect some of that stuff. But, you know what I mean? So we start with how does it paint a picture for me, how this person looks, how they feel, and then also, and again, and I love this one I just love to throw out is what does Susie now believe about herself? Seriously, man, that's like and I'm say like I think that's a money ask question, because then that belief goes, and then they say something like, well, she believes she can actually do this. She believes she can actually control her appetite. She believes she can, you know what I mean? How, and then you come back to, okay, well, it costs this. Again, you're going, wait a minute. So that belief, all those things, that means nothing now? Like, we're just going to go nuts. You know what I mean? There's just so much more emotional power behind the ask than when you do send them the video and they say, wow, yeah. And, they say these things and you just go, oh my gosh, that sounds fantastic. Yes, I totally agree. Yes, you'll be so much more, stronger, you'll be happier, you'll be whatever those things are. And then you can go, I really think this would be a great fit for you. I'd love it for you to check it out. Okay, can I send you a video? Absolutely, send it as fast as you can. You know what I mean? Does that make sense, Kelsey?
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you spending much time on that whys or that question after those things?
I feel like I have with some, because I feel like a lot of times when you ask people what their goals are, sometimes it can get emotional pretty fast.
Okay.
With certain people I've talked to. Now, I don't know if that's the way with everyone else, but I think it depends on how you ask that. And then once you ask that a certain way, they can get kind of emotional about it.
Yeah, that can certainly happen. But so that tells me that there is a disconnect between the video and pricing at that point, and it's probably not a deep enough emotion. Because honestly, guys, I'm going to say this about 50 billion times with emphasis, or 50 billion watts of emphasis. I don't know what I would say behind it. It's just the fact, guys, people don't make financial decisions based on their left brain, like the logical side. We can't afford this so much, okay? It's usually more based on the right brain, how I feel about this, okay? I'm just, it's very, very true. Now, the thing that can happen in that, just especially when the spouse comes into that, and you guys have all probably experienced that to some degree, so they're already sort of there emotionally, right? You've made the connection with that. And then spouse comes into the picture, has no emotional connection to this decision, and then it's just flat out, you're asking for a new expense that we're going to put into our budget. No way, right? So I think it's really critical to sort of somehow, if there ends up having to be that with the spouse, I would just say like something to the effect of like, please absolutely share what we talked about at least a little bit, and share maybe even the video so they can see what goes into this versus, because honestly, here's the thing too, it depends on the spouse. Okay, so I'm going to say guys, so if it's a female who's trying to buy and a guy, and you go, if they are reasonably caring about this person and this is really an issue for them that they really want to do, let's face it, ladies, I'm just going to be real with you. If you really want something to happen, you're gonna make it happen. You know what I mean? I don't mean to be mean about that, but it's the truth. It's like when that comes. So what ends up happening in that is it generally ends up being, when somebody kind of blames it sort of on their spouse, it ends up being they're not really emotionally there yet. You know what I mean? And that's where I think you then can still follow. Make sure you have them on a list for the following month and go, you know what? You were so close last time to really do this. And I think maybe, if you had some time to prepare, can I invite you next month? Okay, yeah, I think you can do that. And then get them in that emotional spot. And then you're building that trust, right? And then that's the process, and then you can get them to that point. So, Kelsey, here's the thing. If you're minimally getting people to this place of even showing them the video, guys, just being real, if you even get to that place of showing somebody the video, you are in a really good place to develop your overall business longer term. The more videos you're showing to people longer term, and then you just keep that following up consistently, you'll build a business, I promise you. But if you never get to the point of even ever showing a video to somebody, then it's going to be really, really hard. Does that make sense, guys? You have to, because that means your funnel is, you're getting enough new people to ask that question even to, can I send you the video? Okay? So, yeah. Was that helpful a little bit, Kels? I don't know. Yeah?
Yes, it was. I just feel like it's easier when you're actually having the conversation to talk about what issues you end up having. I have a hard time just off the top of my head saying, normally it's about money or whatnot, but I have had some other ones that I can't recall right now.
Well, here's what this would be really great for the Coach Club. If you could copy paste some of those conversations and just do, obviously don't need to include their names or anything like that. Maybe you can just copy paste and go, this is a good example of one that I've been struggling with. And then I think you could all probably potentially chime in a little bit. I think that might be helpful.
Okay.
Yeah. It doesn't have to happen right now, but you can maybe do it tomorrow. That's fantastic. Okay?
Okay.
Good. All right. How about other folks? Like, where are you getting stuck when it comes to the conversation? Love to kind of help diagnose some of that. I'm going to eat a carrot while I wait for people to talk. Looks like Nancy's going to talk.
Yeah. Well, as I was listening to Kelsey, and I think there is a difference in the whole age thing, because, being older and the group that I think that I am connecting with, $160 for what they get is nothing. When I'm looking at, and I sort of have the vantage point I talked last week about kind of, getting over that hurdle of the cost is, what they are getting for that cost is phenomenal. In this coach training that I'm taking, these women are doing a 90-day program without a online video program or whatever, fitness and nutrition and all of that. And they're charging $500, $600, $700, $800 for coaching. And so what our people are getting, they're getting, 365 days of fitness, a variety of programs, a nutritional drink that is, top notch. I tell you what, I just watched watch or listen to the podcast for Shakeology.
Yeah.
The lengths that they go to for quality control blew me away.
Seriously, guys. Great.
It's just the quality of the product that we're selling is phenomenal. And then they get free coaching. Plus they get a support group. Plus they get, tips and tricks. And
it's insane. Really, guys, for $4 a day. It is.
Yeah. I mean, it's incredible what they're getting. Yep. And the cost of that package, you're getting a month's worth of Shakeology. You're paying what, $30 for a year's worth of quality fitness programs. So I think a lot of it is, I have kind of crossed that road, or crossed that point of being ashamed of it or apologizing for the cost of it. You are worth $160 for crying out loud. Now, obviously, they're going to have to decide whether they want to continue on with the Shakeology or not. They will decide that after the first month. Yep. If Shakeology does nothing for them in that first month, they're not going to keep going with it. So be it. But I think most people are going to find that it's, in that month, give it a month, just give it a month. And they still have, Beachbody on Demand. So, it doesn't help us out if they don't keep with Shakeology, but.
Yeah. And I think, and I think having them ultimately, you've got them, this is what Carl, when we originally came out with this whole challenge pack, which was the all access, is the fact that you've got a year of them technically being like very challenge. They can join the challenge with a new program, because we were releasing new programs, that kind of stuff. So you can always be re-inviting those people who have done this and just get back on board, just, okay, let's just up your Shakeology. Because, sometimes it's a season or it's a financial situation or something like that where they can't afford it. And then it's time to really get back into the game. So that I think is a really helpful tool as well. But you're right, Nancy, it is one of those belief issues is on the bigger side of that. And if you've got that deep founded belief, then you just approach it from that place. And then you're not stressed if they say no. It's like, oh, it's totally cool. You know what? Maybe we'll look at it for next month and see if that might be an option for you. And, really just helping you continually tell that story. Like for me, particularly, obviously Kelsey right now has been a little bit of a challenge for you. But for me, like with the fact that, teaching, my gosh, seriously, the fact that I've got, when I have a very, very small windows to get in, Debbie, you know this too, very small windows between my classes to be able to grab something and just chug, to be able to do that, very quick pour and go. Oh my gosh, it's so helpful. And like, so it's a lifesaver for me. It's like, sometimes I go, I don't know how people who are like, particularly teachers, I don't know how they do it. Like they don't is the issue. A lot of them don't. They're like, they're grabbing snacks at the teacher's lounge and they donuts, they grab the drive-by donut grab, on the way to the copy machine, which is like, so. Anyway, so Jen, how about you? Like what solutions, what problems have you been experiencing? Anything like that you could talk about real quick?
Honestly, the main problem I come up with, sorry, my voice, is really, it's always the price. They can't do it at this time, but what I'm learning is that I just invite them to my next free challenge. If I can keep cycling them through my free challenges, eventually they're going to get enough quality and value out of those challenges that they're going to save. And I'll be honest, guys, it took me 8 months to buy Shakeology because I couldn't afford it. But I saved my money. I saved my birthday money that my family gave me. And I eventually, like you said, if we're going to find a way, if you want it, they're going to find a way. And that's what I did. So I always have that in the back of my mind, that if I can keep these people just linked to me, then eventually, you know, something good's going to come out of it. Okay. Even if it's, you know, something small, it's something. I really haven't had with the conversation hurdles. Let's see. Most of the time I just get ignored. So, if they ignore me, you know, I will try again, you know, probably 3 to 5 days. And I'll just be like, hey, I don't know if you saw my message. Sometimes we miss these things, but I'm having a free challenge. And if they don't respond again, then I just cross them off and I move on to the next.
Especially for a free. Yeah.
Right. You know, and I'm not really having a lot of issues with the conversation hurdles necessarily, because if I have a question, I Google everything. I Google what other people have had issues with, and I kind of just base it off of that.
Yep.
And right now my focus is solely on is inviting and scripting and getting it right. So
Yep.
I guess my thoughts there with the hurdles is just ask somebody. If you have a question, definitely ask, and hopefully one of us can jump on and help out, because most of the time we all can relate to some conversation one way or another.
Yeah. Or have some experience, you know. And that's the thing is, guys, you just start to get armed with, I've dealt with this situation before and this is how I did it, right? Those kind of things. And when we can share those experiences, it really, really helps. Now, I would say this is one of the things I really love about Bonnie Engel's posting, okay? Yeah, scripting is so huge. And Linda, I've been there. I used to just it's okay, Claire, every day or every time I would just try like a new, and I would really just kind of almost pressury try to convince them, and I'm going to convince you. And it really is, it's more about this. And if you can remember these 2 key things: ask questions, point to tools. Ask questions, point to tools. So if you can ask a question and then you point to some kind of a tool, which is ultimately the videos that we have, right? That's ultimately what helps people make genuine progress.
And listening.
Yes.
You have to listen.
Yeah. Which is asking questions part of that too.
Right. Yeah. Some people ask questions and then shoot right for, you know, they're in the back of their mind, it's like, okay, I got to sell. I got to try to get this thing. But really, you have to listen to them because they want to tell you more. They do. It just takes some trust to get there. Yep. I've learned that.
Yeah, and the truth in that too is that the fact if you even ask, my sense is most people, if they're going to even following the scripting process, will ask about 4-ish questions, right? That sort of ends up being the 4 questions. What are your goals? Exercise-ish, you know, what are you eating? And then would you like to, you know, check out video? My sense is if you can just simply think about doubling that, okay, in terms of your life, and I don't even care. So it could be a small clarification on, so tell me, so like I saw you said you're doing this at night. Is that, so you're craving more sweets or you're craving more of what? Oh no, I mean, you know, it's just getting them to even mention something like that as you start to open up. They start to open up their lives just a bit, guys. And the more you have extra points. Back to Bonnie Engel. We'll hold on one quick second, Nancy. But back to Bonnie Engel for me. I'll talk about that in a second, Linda. Don't let me forget. But with Bonnie, what she does, and this is where I wanted to talk about this, when you have your conversations, you can avoid some traps, like a dead end, because what ends up happening is so the worst case scenario is you've delivered, you get in a situation and they corner you on price, let's say, that's what ends up happening. But really what we want to do is, guys, is we want to actually preempt almost, and you've heard this phrase probably, okay, is, hold on. So the best defense is a good offense, which is going to be the way you script things, right? But then I'm going to say the best offense is a good defense. okay? And that means the way you are posting on your timeline on occasion, and you have to be a little bit bold on this on occasion. But here's the deal. So you're gonna probably see this from me tomorrow, because I really wanna, like, I've been waiting to do this to get myself a little bit more time back in the classroom, but to literally go, this lifesaver, teacher lifesaver, going, I can't make it without this stuff. This stuff is great. And here's the thing, you might say, some people say that this stuff, and I'll actually mention Shakeology in this. I won't do this all the time. But sometimes it's like people will say, and you deal with objections, and this is what Bonnie says. She says to deal with objections on your timeline sometimes will actually get you better people in your pipeline later, because you've already dealt with them. They're seeing what you're posting. You're seeing what you're throwing down. So then it's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I need a convenient shake. I'm going to talk about the convenience of it. I'm going to talk about the health factors of it. I'm going to talk about how it's whole foods based and put together. I'm going to talk about how the cost, for around $4 a day, it gets me this. So they're not like, oh my gosh, I'm so surprised that this cost me. Guess what, kids? That draws a different kind of client, right? And so, Kelsey, what I probably would say to you sometimes is probably we've just got to help you get a different, maybe even a little bit older client. You know what I mean? So a gal who's in her, like, who's 23 or 24, just basically getting rolling, maybe she can't quite ready to make this happen right now. Maybe she can't. So maybe we've got a little bit more established. Just throwing that out to you as an option. But does that make sense, guys? To be posting about those things in a semi-bold way, especially like things like Beachbody on Demand, to be able to even talk about that on occasion. And again, don't be salesy about it, but really tell your story with it. Go, oh my gosh, I can't believe I get options of every workout. Because here's the thing, guys, I don't know if you know this or not, but like a lot of, like, there's people who are particularly on Instagram, a lot of the Instagram, like, this could be real hot babes who just, like, they have their little, things where they'll give you workouts where you buy X amount of things. You'll spend, at least, probably a couple bucks a day. They'll charge, $35 for a workout set of videos or something like that. They'll actually do that kind of stuff. And here, like, seriously, the difference between that Shakeology and that and the entire Beachbody library is $31, right? It's $31 for the entire Beachbody on Demand library, which is professional videos. It's not some chick sitting in her basement with some lighting, I remember that's horrible, and she's going, I think you should, So just being real on that, guys. So don't be apologetic when it comes to that particular aspect of this. And again, and back to gym memberships, come on, shoot a decent gym membership, especially like something like Orange Theory Fitness or CrossFit, guys, and some of those things. Crazy. It's $200-300 a month, and that's no food. So it's like, it's the people are out there spending the money. We just got to find them sometimes. And I would just say, if you're feeling frustrated, sometimes it's just a matter of finding the right people instead of trying to reach out to the same folks. And it's like, because being truthful, there's a crowd. I'm not going to mention where it's from because it'll give it away. But there's been a crowd of people that have been in my free challenges for a long time. And I just kind of I love you guys, they actually are really supportive on my social media and all that kind of stuff. But I'm done reaching out to them because they are so cheap, man. They will never bite on anything, and I'm like, dude, I'm just where to find me. It's kind of okay. So throwing that to you. Any other words, Nancy? Like you were gonna say something? Oh, Linda, Nancy's gonna say something, but Linda, video. I actually sent 2 videos. So the number one I send is it's called Ever Feel Like This, okay? Which is basically in the intro. So I actually send 2 videos, which is a little bit different than our scripting, guys. I shortened that back when I was doing scripting process, and maybe I've done us a disservice. But Ever Feel Like This, I'll post it in the Coach Club again. But what that does, guys, is it just basically shows, have you ever felt like this? And it's just this person laying down pictures. You remember this? So they're laying down pictures on top of it. Oh, and this person got fit, and this person did, and this. And then ultimately sort of lays out the overall system and how it works. Like, oh, you get a coach, and you get workout programs, and it mentions Beachbody on Demand, all those kind of things. And then Shakeology is even mentioned and all that. No price is mentioned in that first one. And then really what all I do is ask them, hey, so what did you like best? What did you like best about that? And then they say, blah, blah, I like this, this is great. Okay, great. Hey, can I actually send you now specifically what I'd like you to look at? This is the actual thing. And I used to send 21 Day Fix, but now I send that video, and you guys have seen me post, I posted it, but it's where I have Beachbody on Demand, which is kind of mostly visual. It's got some music behind it. There's no really anybody talking. It talks about Beachbody on Demand, and then I right immediately follows up with Tony's Shakeology video. So in that together, that pairing has worked really, really well for me over the years. And I got not over the years, but that last one's a kind of a newish version. But I've used 21 Day Fix basically is the same. Okay, Nancy, what would you have to say?
Just a couple things. One is when you have your conversations, we're talking conversations. Are you talking telephone? Are you talking face-to-face? Are you talking email or messaging, Facebook messaging? What I'm finding is I'm doing Facebook messaging. Well, I've had a couple face-to-face, but and I think what is happening are this isn't surprising, my messages are too long, I think, because I'm trying to like cram all this awesome information into one email, and I think it just overwhelms them. I would rather have a conversation, but I'm not quite sure how to approach that either. I've got one girl who, with our sugar detox thing, she said, help me. She reached out to me, and I've been trying to call her. She's told me a couple times, call me. I've called, I've left messages, I've messaged her. I think she's at that place where she wants help, but it's like terrifying to really like make that commitment. So I just sent her an email tonight and said, hey, where are you at? What do you want to do with this? Do you want to move forward? I'm here for you.
Sometimes, just so you know, Nancy, what I'll do when you sense that I think is the spirit discerning that for you, and all you need to do is call it out. Sounds like you've got some hesitations, or you maybe got some concerns or fears. I'd love to help you with that. I'd love to let's get those head on. And I'm willing. You can ask the hard questions. I'm willing, because I'm not trying to keep you out. I want to just discern if this is a good fit for you, that kind of a thing. And if you call that out, sometimes that's just I get, for lack of a better word, guys. Sometimes I think we just need to use these. I call it coaching up. You need you've heard the word man up. It's like you need to coach up on people sometimes, and just get you position yourself in it's a posture that says confidence. It says I'm going to take a little bit of, I'm going to be assertive isn't even the word because that's not it, but just be more directive in the conversation. Okay, let's call this what it is. This is what's going on. I can sense you've had you have some concerns yet. Can we answer those now, or would you be more comfortable maybe waiting for next month, and I'll put you on that list to invite for next month? That might be a good way of saying it. You know what I mean? But take control of that versus I don't know if you're going to send me a message back or not. You know what I mean? And then, and it's cool. Then you can go, and if I don't hear back from you, it's totally cool. I'll just sort of keep you on my follow-up list maybe every month or something like that. That might be the out clause for them if they're that kind of done. But I would say, if you feel like you're sending probably too much information, you're probably sending too much information. You're probably not asking enough questions and letting the tools do the talking. Okay, so guys, just being real on this. This is actual when it comes to multi-level marketing. When it comes to the network marketing model, people. Okay, first of all, closing a deal in one conversation is trying to close the deal is almost always a deal breaker. If you try to get somebody from initial interest, interested, blah, 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 and you try to close the deal within that first conversation, you'll almost always lose them percentage-wise, okay? If you can do a delayed point and say, okay, this is the point conversation, and they even want more stuff. They would like to even talk to you more, and you're like, okay, no, that's great. I'd love to send you this video that shows what our system is like. Would you be willing to check that out? And I'll follow up with you tomorrow. Does that sound good? Great. Sounds good. I'll follow up tomorrow. Here's the video. Bam. Ever feel like this? And you follow up the next day. Okay. Sounds great. What'd you like best about that video? Oh, this is what I liked. I like the fact that the portion containers, whatever it is. Great. You affirm that. Sounds great. I would love to send you the actual, like what we'd be looking at and to trying to do. Oh, here it is. Great. And you begin pointing to tools. It's building credibility. And guys, here's the deal. When they start to see the credibility of these videos and how well they're done and the process and all that stuff, they start to build belief. You know, they believe you and they'll trust you to some degree, but especially the more you pull into what we call like a lukewarm market maybe, or even cold market, and you really don't know them very well, the more you absolutely need third-party tools, which is going to be our videos, to build that trust. Because, you know, initially it's like you can literally make that ask, like, trust me, you know. For you, it's like, you know, trust me, Chip, you know, trust me, Susan, like, because you know me and I know this stuff, great, and they trust you implicitly versus, you know, the thing. So yeah.
I had someone, a guy that's very strongly considering it, say to me, I hate sales. I hate particularly multi-level sales, but I trust you.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Yeah. And I think that's really that's a great thing, because, you know, I've mentioned this before on our calls, but Stephen Covey wrote the book called The Speed of Trust. Okay. And the faster you can build that place of trust with somebody, and that sometimes is the power of vulnerability. So guys, there's a reason why on occasion I'll post the fact that I'm struggling on something, or there's an area where it's like I'm not lived up to what I've been, you know, trying to do, those kind of things, or, you know, especially sharing stuff with our families. And so if you ever get in that weird spot of like, oh, I hate to feel like I'm sharing, you know, about my blah, 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 that's ultimately rounding you out, right? Because if you are only posting about fitness stuff, people aren't going to know you. They're going to know who you are, okay? Posting about more than that. Okay. All right. Well, guys, guess what? It's time. So I'm going to sign us off and say this. Next week, August 28th, sneak peek, 8:30. Same time, same place, same thing. And guys, and I'll try to reshare it in the Coach Club. But the fact is this: use this as a thing to invite people to, because and I don't know who it is in your world. It could be a challenger, could be some people you've been working with, could be somebody who you know is just really interested in fitness and who they need some extra money, and you can literally go to that level. Go, look, I know you're fit. I know you love fitness stuff. You should. Would you at least hop on this call and see if it might be something you might be interested in? It's 1 hour of your life. It might be a blessing to you. And I'd love for you to join our team. I'd love for you to join me. We could do this together. We could work this together. That kind of stuff. Okay? Sound good? All right, people. Well, thank you so much. I'll post the recording of this in the Coach Club. And you guys are awesome. All right. We'll see you soon. Hey, guys, real quick, last thing before I head out. I just want to say thank you. As a coach now who has gone back into the working world, and who has been, prior to this, present pretty much at every moment where you guys could message something and I would be almost there in a flash. So I have to say thank you so much for being willing to take up some of that slack with each other. I'm really intentionally trying to get on, at least I don't really do it I can't do it in the mornings, guys, because I just don't have time in the mornings. I have to really take care of my challengers at that point. So you guys are more of an afternoon slot type of thing where I check those message strands. I just want to kind of let you know that's the deal. If you do ever need me, just know private messaging me is the best way. So don't like if you were to be like, you know, where it's a spot where you post something in the Coach Club and you tag me, and then for some reason I missed that and you feel like, oh, you didn't check, I feel so bad, but probably because I didn't see it. Just being real. So private message me, that kind of stuff, that really, really helps me. So if you need that extra little bit of help, you go. All right, people, you guys are awesome. Love you so much, and we'll talk to you soon. All right, peace out.
Bye.
See ya.
Good night.